Today, let's talk about a mysterious figure in the Bible, Nimrod. Many people have heard his name, but few understand who he really was and why he is important. His story is hidden in just a few verses, yet it connects to major themes in the Bible, including rebellion, empire building, and the origins of Babylon. Who was Nimrod? Nimrod in the Bible was the great-grandson of Noah through the line of Ham and Cush. What we know of him comes from 4 verses in Genesis 10 verses 8 to 12. Cush was the father of Nimrod, who became a mighty warrior on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. That is why it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The first centers of his kingdom were Babylon, Uruk, Akkad, and Calneh in Shinar. From that land he went to Assyria and built Nineveh, Rehoboth-ir, Calah, and Rezin between Nineveh and Calah, that is the principal city. From this, we learn that Nimrod was a powerful leader and the first person in the Bible to establish a kingdom. In Genesis 10, Nimrod is called a mighty warrior on the earth, verse 8, and a mighty hunter before the Lord, verse 9a. So famous was Nimrod's prowess as a hunter of wild animals that his skill became proverbial, and the ancients used to compliment people by saying, "This man is like Nimrod, the greatest hunter in the world," verse 9b. Nimrod was obviously a mighty man with great skill and plenty of ambition. The fact that Genesis 10 verse 8 calls Nimrod a mighty one has led some to associate him with the Nephilim, which are called mighty men in Genesis 6 verse 4, KJV. This association, although untenable, has led still others to believe that Nimrod was a giant. Nimrod and the Tower of Babel. Nimrod is strongly connected to the building of the Tower of Babel, although his name is not mentioned directly in Genesis 11 verses 1 to 9. The people of that time said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city, with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." Genesis 11 verse 4. God had commanded humanity to spread across the earth. Genesis 9 verse 1. So God blessed Noah and his sons, and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth." But Nimrod and his people wanted to stay in one place and build a great empire. Their goal was not just to construct a tower, but to unite in defiance against God. This rebellion led to God confusing their languages and scattering them across the world. Unsubstantiated are the descriptions of Nimrod from Jewish historian Josephus, who links Nimrod to the building of the Tower of Babel. Nimrod said he would be revenged on God if he should have a mind to drown the world again, for that he would build a tower too high for the waters to reach, and that he would avenge himself on God for destroying their forefathers. Antiquities of the Jews, Book 1, Chapter 4. So, the motive for building the Tower of Babel, according to Josephus, was to protect humanity against another flood. Further, according to Josephus, Nimrod persuaded his subjects not to ascribe their strength to God, as if it were through his means they were happy, but to believe that it was their own courage which procured that happiness. Of course, construction of the Tower of Babel ended with another show of God's power. The Lord confused the languages of the people, making it impossible for them to communicate effectively enough to finish the job. These are vital truths about salvation that many people need to hear. So, please like and share so that more can receive this message for Jesus' sake. Nimrod's kingdom and Babylon's influence. Nimrod's kingdom included Babylon, which became a symbol of human pride and opposition to God. Throughout the Bible, Babylon is seen as a place of corruption and rebellion. Revelation 17 verse 5 calls it Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. This connects back to Nimrod, whose kingdom started this rebellious culture. Was Nimrod good or evil? The Bible does not directly call Nimrod evil, but his actions suggest that he led people away from God. He built cities instead of obeying God's command to spread out, and he may have encouraged idol worship. Some traditions outside the Bible even say he was the first to introduce false religion. What can we learn from Nimrod? 1. Pride leads to downfall. The story of the Tower of Babel is a powerful warning about pride. The people of Babel wanted to make a name for themselves rather than glorify God. Their ambition was not just about building a tall structure, it was about proving their independence from God. They believed they could reach the heavens on their own terms. But Proverbs 16 verse 18 warns us, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." 2. God's plans will always succeed. Nimrod and his people wanted to establish a kingdom on their own terms. But God had already given humanity a command, "Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth." Genesis 9 verse 1. By trying to gather in one place and build their own empire, they were resisting God's plan. However, despite their efforts, God scattered them across the earth, just as He intended. This teaches us an important lesson. No matter how powerful human leaders seem, God's will always prevails. Job 42 verse 2 says, "I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted." Even when the world seems to be in rebellion, we can trust that God's plans are unstoppable. His purpose for humanity, for nations, and for our own lives will always come to pass. 3. We should follow God, not worldly power. Nimrod is often seen as a symbol of human ambition and earthly power. He was a strong leader who built great cities, but his focus was on establishing a worldly empire rather than honoring God. Many leaders throughout history have followed the same pattern, seeking wealth, control, and fame at the expense of righteousness. Nimrod sought earthly power, but Jesus taught that true greatness comes from serving God and others. Matthew 23 verse 11. Take note, Nimrod's story is short but powerful. He was a man of great ambition, but his legacy became one of rebellion. His kingdom, Babylon, stood as a symbol of opposition to God throughout history. Nimrod was undoubtedly a powerful, charismatic hero figure of the ancient world. It isn't hard to see why so many myths and legends would spring up in the wake of such a man. In the end, however, Nimrod's power and glory came to nothing, because God is stronger than even the mightiest of men, and He cannot be thwarted. Nimrod was a mighty hunter before the Lord, but humility before the Lord is the posture of the wise. Proverbs 3 verse 34 and James 4 verse 6. The lesson is clear. No matter how strong or successful someone seems, only those who follow God's ways will have true and lasting success. What do you think? Have you heard of Nimrod before? Do you see any connections between his story and the world today? Let's discuss. God bless you.